So BC is in the middle of a quiet crisis. Literally tens of thousands of people are leaving the province. And it's not because they want to either. It's because they feel that they have no choice. And here's what makes this different. Most people that are leaving, they're not retirees, okay? They're the young working families, the people who should be the backbone of our economy, the future buyers, the business owners, and the taxpayers. And yet they're packing up. Why are they doing this? Well, I'm going to show you what's really driving this mass exodus, because it's not just the high home prices, okay? It's a deeper confidence issue that's starting to snowball. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand what's really happening underneath the surface and how it might actually affect you, especially if you own a home or if you want to buy or if you're thinking of selling. So let's cut straight to the data here, because in just 12 months, BC lost almost 70,000 residents to other provinces, mostly to Alberta. And according to the Business Council of BC, that is the largest interprovincial migration loss that we have seen in over 25 years. And here's the part that really matters. 77% of the people leaving are under the age of 40. So guys, these are not retirees, okay? These are young families. They're professionals, tradespeople, people who are just getting started in life. These are the exact people that BC needs to grow and thrive, and they're just walking away. At the same time, Alberta saw a record influx of new residents, and the numbers tell the story. Median after-tax income in Alberta is slightly higher than BC, but the real driver is affordability. According to the Canadian Real Estate Association, the median price for a detached home in Calgary is about $715,000. Now, compare that to Metro Vancouver, where detached homes are averaging over $1.27 million, and it's easy to see why families are making the move. That kind of price gap, it gives people financial breathing room. And for many, that's more valuable than staying put. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Yes, homes have always been expensive here. That is true. But this isn't just about the sticker shock, okay? It's about the feeling that no matter how hard you work, you're falling further behind. So let's actually talk about affordability, and not just in theory, but in real terms. So according to a report cited by the Royal Bank of Canada, the cost of owning a home in Vancouver, it now exceeds 106% of the median household income. So in other words, it costs more than what most people make just to cover the basics of home ownership. So it's no wonder that people are feeling stretched thin here. And that's before you even factor in things like groceries or gas or, the everyday bills. So at some point, people, they just simply stop asking, how do I make this work? And they start instead asking, why am I doing all of this? And that is the tipping point. Now, you think that this kind of pressure would hit renters first, and it has, right? But now we're starting to see signs that even some homeowners, especially those who bought recently or, they stretched their finances too far, are quietly starting to back away. And some are lowering their prices, they're offering incentives, or they're even moving out of province to cash out while they still can. And when you see that kind of thing happening, not from panic, but from quiet resignation, well, that's when things are shifting. When families start leaving, it really does tug at the heart. But, when you start to see small business owners, tradespeople, even healthcare workers walking away, that's when it's bigger than emotion. That is actually structural. You see, these are the people who keep the province running. So when they start packing up, it's not just a personal choice. It's a red flag. It's something in the system that isn't working anymore. And even government reports are calling this trend a canary in the coal mine. And they're right. When this many people are starting to leave, it means affordability, it hasn't just become difficult, it's already crossed the line. Because people aren't just struggling, they're opting out. But here's the thing, if you're paying attention, this shift can actually work in your favor. So if you're buying, there are sellers right now who are quietly adjusting. They're offering incentives, they're accepting below asking, or they're just looking for a clean exit. Now, if you're selling, this is your signal, okay? It's your signal to get real about where the market is heading, because once home buyer confidence starts to shake, it doesn't take much for the demand to dry up. And remember, these trends, they always show up in the data first, long before they hit the headlines. So if you're watching closely, you can move early while everyone else is still waiting and reacting after the fact. Now, I know this is a lot, so let's break it down on what this might actually mean for you specifically. So if you're a homeowner, this is the time to take a hard look at your position, especially if you're in an area that younger buyers are now starting to skip over, okay? Now, if you're a buyer, you may find opportunities that others are missing. You know, there are definitely pockets where listings are starting to soften, sellers are nervous, and the doors are opening for better deals. Now, which, by the way, is exactly why I created my home buyers negotiation playbook, to help you get the best possible deal. So if you do want a copy of that, there is a link in the description box below. Now, if you're a seller, your strategy needs to shift, okay? Prices alone, they won't sell a home anymore. You've got to show real value, because buyers today, they are cautious and they are calculated. And just to be clear, this market is not done moving, okay? If you think things are cooling off now, just wait until you see what is coming next. And listen, if you think buying a home in BC is straightforward, think again, because most buyers, they don't realize the system is stacked against them until it's too late. So make sure you watch this next video popping up right now. It could literally save you tens of thousands of dollars. And of course, if you have any questions, you want to chat more about this, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video.